I remember lonely nights, I was in that trap house, feeling so alone, shooting dope on the couch, no food up in my mouth, surrounded by these clouds, and laughing at these demons that were dressed up like some clowns, smoking on some bud, pop a couple Zans, couple shots of liquor make me feel like I'm the man. My life was in a trance, syringe up in my hands. I wanna leave this life, but the devil said I can't. I was already too deep. If I quit, then I would break. I hated cold sweats and I hated body aches.
Hello, welcome everybody to the HFM radio show. I am your host, Jenna Espinosa.
And Abraham Espinosa. I'm here. I'm back from the hospital and I'm feeling a lot better and ready just to... Waiting for the hood preacher to get here. He's almost here. Got a lot of traffic, you know, so he'll be here any minute, and we'll get started with him.
Yes, but in the meantime, yes, like my husband said, he's back from the hospital, so he's back in the studio. I'm so happy he's here. I felt so empty last week here by myself. It's like half the show was missing. So I'm so excited you're back. I know y'all missed him too, right?
Yeah.
And I know you missed being here too, huh?
Yeah, I miss being here. It's a better place being in the hospital. Being in the hospital while I was just laying there, had no energy or no nothing. And my wife actually thought about not coming. I said, "No, you're gonna go. You're gonna go." And and she was like, "Well, you're not gonna be there. It doesn't matter. You're gonna go."
Yeah, I didn't want to come do the show because I was like, "How am I gonna do the show without my other half?" It's Team Us all the time, and I felt really naked. You know how you're used to having something or someone, and you leave the house without your phone, or you leave the house without your wedding ring, heaven forbid. But you feel naked. Well, I didn't have my other half with me, and I was like, "How am I gonna do a show without him?"
I told her you need to go. I was just weak, and I was out of it. I mean, I probably just watched the beginning of it, and I just couldn't. I had to go back to sleep. I was just too weak to do anything.
Yeah,
but I just convinced her. I said, "No, you're gonna go. You're gonna." And and she was, "No, but I can't. No, this show, you've got to go. So, but by the grace of God, and I'm here, and I'm here now, and we're gonna get going."
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, he was in the hospital all week last week. So he ended up having 3 blood transfusions, 2 bags of blood each time. And that was pretty scary, seeing my husband having to take blood, and he was so weak and he was out of it. And, he lost half his blood supply, not once, but twice last week. So that was a kind of scary thing.
Yeah, it was. When they told me I had 3 blood transfusions, I was like, well 3 of them, but I didn't know that each blood transfusion carries 2 bags of blood. And at the time, I wasn't even, half the time I wasn't even knowing what's going on. I was just there weak. When you lose that much blood, you're out of it. You don't know what, half the time what's going on. You're just watching and everything, and you coming in, nursing just pricking you. They need more blood, they need this. And man, it was a scary moment, scary moments. I would wake up at night, and I would wake up my wife, I'm not feeling well. And they will come back again and put some more blood. And it seems like every time they will give me blood, I would just gush it all out again. And it was just horrible. I mean, I wish that upon nobody. So for those that are sick, I got diverticulitis. If you have diverticulitis, you better take care of yourself, because it'll just come without you. It'll catch up to you. You keep saying, "I'll be all right. I'm going to be all right."
That's right.
That was me, and I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that,
And my husband loves to eat.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your prayers. Those were much appreciated. Because that was all I could do, man. Watching my husband deteriorate, really, like in front of me. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not ready to be a widow. He ain't leaving me that easy." So.
Yeah, she kept on telling me, "You ain't leaving me that easy." And I would just look at her and crack a smile, and I'll just fall back asleep, man. But I appreciate them guys, people that were just checking on me, and
everybody that was praying. I think these are our guests.
Oh,
Heidi,
here they
come on in.
Yeah,
come
they're
on
here.
In. So if you heard the intro music coming onto the show, you guys just have a seat right there.
Grab a mic.
Phones on silent. Phones on silent, not vibrate, silent. So if you heard the song coming on when we were coming on the podcast, I don't know if our Facebook people can hear it, but I know if you're tuning in on the actual podcast, you heard one of the intro songs coming on, and so that was it was called Caught Up, and it's one of the artists from the Hood Preacher Entertainment, and we have them here in the studio. They got caught in traffic, so
traffic is rough over here.
Oh, man, I bet. And not only that, so I was at work, right? So I get off at work, and I try to turn my car on, and my battery's dead.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be more late, right? So I go ahead and get it jumped and everything, and get to my sister's house. On our way over here, I mean, she nearly almost kills us when we're driving. But, you know.
But did you die? But did you die, right?
But when you get a woman driving, coming this way, it's going to happen. Trust me, I know.
But did you die?
I guess I did it, you know.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, guys. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you for being here. It's an honor, you know. Just listening to a little bit of your music. I was in the hospital last week, and I was checking it out, man. It's got some good beat. You got that, man, that old school kind of sound and the rap. Man, I love it. I'm like, wow, I like this. I like this, you know. And a lot of kids these days listen to the worldly music, and you know, they're just not good. It's not good music. I don't think, you know. It's definitely leading them the wrong way. Yeah. But when I heard your songs and the beat, it caught my attention. I was moving, you know. Yeah. So it was some good music you're making, and you know, tell us about your music.
Hold on, before.
Hold
on. We're gonna take a quick break while we get acquainted here, since they just got here. We're gonna take a quick break. So thank you again for tuning into HFM Radio Show. This is your host Jenna Espinosa with Abraham Espinosa. And we'll be back just a moment. So guys, so you can stand by.
Expected to make it. I'm expecting to change. I'm expecting this mindset to set aside my brain. I'm expected to make it. I'm expected to change. I'm expecting this mindset to set aside my brain. I'm expected to make it, you know me now. I feel that sounds from the underground. A dog in my heart, look at what I found. Blood on my hands, it's a broken smile. Reliving dreams through the spirit stream. There's two of me, one lost at sea. The first word, murder by the first degree. The smell of my corpse is a beautiful thing. The first and the last, cause you know me, God. You planned out my life, it's a perfect plot. The greatest mistake was a change of names. Was a powder salt or was a salt apart? It's above the law, it's the biggest no. Damascus Road from the one unknown.
So when you're talking to the mic, you might not want
never to kill my flesh, never sell my soul. I'm expecting to change. I'm expecting this mindset to sit aside my brain. I'm expecting to make. I'm expecting to change. I gotta change. I'm expecting this mindset to sit aside my brain. I'm expecting to make it. You know me now. I built down steps from the underground. I dug in my heart, look at what I found. The same old face with a crooked smile. A head full of change like a piggy bank. A paradigm shift made me change my name. You called out my bluff, so I know Jehovah Jireh.
Danny Calloway. Hi, man. What's up, Hyman, man? I meant to be calling you back, man. Thanks for coming visit me at the hospital. What's up, Mondo? Sonia, what's going on?
This is my enemy. The thorn in my flesh keeps reminding me. I do creation as a love. The OC is back and forth. And then the token close where the death of me is when my life unfolds. Dedication where the truth is told. I prove by God another congregation.
All right, welcome back to the HFM Radio Show with your host Jenna Espinosa and my husband Abraham Espinosa. We have the artist from Hood Preacher Entertainment in the house, and again, that was another track from them. That one was called Expected. So that's some good music. So y'all want to find them on Facebook. I know y'all have a CD out. So, y'all did some good music. And I'm not even one that really liked rap. So I didn't like, even in my BC days, I didn't really like rap. But I can get into it. Like, I like it. And, I mean, there are some other rap music, and I'm just like, I can't get into that, but I really like your music.
Amen.
Like,
Thank you.
he saw me here, and I was like getting it ready to play, and I was all like moving my head, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this.
Amen. Thank you.
So how long have y'all been doing that?
As a group, we just started. Maybe we put the group about maybe 2 weeks ago, and but I've been doing it for a little while now, a couple years, just doing stuff on my own. But we all attend the same church, Victory Outreach Church of Dallas, and shout out to my pastor, Pastor Jesse. Love you, Pastor.
Hey,
Amen.
Pastor.
All the
Yes, we
leaders.
love Pastor
Yeah,
Jesse.
we love Pastor Jesse. Yes.
Amen. So we all attend the same church, and I seen a lot of talent that we've had, and I think it's just they need somebody to push them. They needed that extra push. So this is Lily.
Hey, Lily.
This is Lily. This is
Hello,
Steven.
hello.
They're both artists on the Hood Preacher Entertainment, and Nick, he takes care of all our merchandise. He takes care of everything that's happening on Facebook, everything behind the scenes. That's what Nick helps us with.
Awesome.
And then Nick, my sister, she's married to Nick. They're both married. It's my brother-in-law.
Okay.
But that's my sister, and she sings. She has
also
a very
sings a
beautiful
while.
voice. Yeah.
And what's your name again?
Linda.
Linda. Okay. And then you're missing one, right?
Yeah, we're missing 2 actually.
Are you
We're
missing
missing actually 3.
Oh.
We're missing 3.
Wow, so you're 7 and all.
Yeah, so we have a young man by the name of Isaac. He's 17 years old. And then we have Brother Billy, the prodigal son. He has a song out with us already too. So, and then we have Chavez, that the man that you were just listening to right now on
Okay,
the
yeah.
radio.
Justin.
Justin, yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to come. Where is he? Supposed to
I know,
bring my
they're-
business cards.
Yeah. They're all taking
Justin,
care of
where
some
my business cards at?
Yeah. They're all taking care of some business for the church. So,
Oh, okay.
they're still doing things to glorify the Lord. Even though
Yes,
they're not
amen,
here. So.
amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
I give you a break, Justin.
Right.
So, and what's your name?
My name is Tony.
Your name's Tony.
Yeah, Tony
Okay.
Wada, yeah.
Okay.
I seen some of your videos that you made. Man, they're awesome. I seen you go live with the men's home.
Yeah.
Man, I was
Yeah.
checking that out. I said, man, that's pretty cool. I was
Yeah.
actually watching it last week right before I went to the hospital. I said, man, this is pretty cool. You got the
Yeah.
men's home involved.
I love the
you like
home,
you
man.
say,
Yes.
yeah, we do too. We're always trying to make our rounds to go over there.
Amen, yeah.
And I see it and I said, man, he's even got the men's home involved. And it was like awesome. And they need that push too.
Yeah,
and to know
They
that.
need
Yeah.
that love.
And-
So I'm
and
glad that
especially
y'all
that-
involved them.
Especially that I came out of the home,
Uh-huh.
I know what it's like, to have that extra push because my leaders were there.
Uh-huh.
My leaders were there for me, so I just want to be that to them. So
So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
okay, my name is Tony. I'm not from here, from Dallas. I'm from San Antonio. I was born and raised in San Antonio. Grew up, like just my testimony?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in a okay family, I want to say. My father, he left us at a young age. He was in and out all the time. And I think that's where I began to, when I got a little older, I began to see my father less and less.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted just that father figure.
Right.
I wanted that father figure. So I left my house at the age of 13 or 14, and I started living on the streets with different friends.
Wow.
And I remember the best thing that my mom had ever did for me was when I came back, she said, "Hey, Tony, look, there's a youth home in Dallas that we want to send you to." Right? And I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll try it out." Right? And she says, it's going to be full of youth. It's going to be fun over there. And I said, okay, yeah, let's do it. So she drives me over here, and she pulls up into this big house, right? And she stays in the car, right? My mom stays in the car, and I get off with my bags. You remember? And I get off with my bags, and then I walk in, and next thing I know, it's the men's home. It's not the youth home, right?
Oh,
It's
wow.
a men's
Yeah, it's a men's home, right? So
Yeah.
she drops me off, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for the youth home, right? It's upstairs, or where is it at, right? And they're like, no, it's the men's home. It's the men's home. So I grab my stuff, and I'm running back out to my mom. So when I run outside the door, she's already gone. She's she leaves me
She's
there.
well, before he changes
Yeah,
his mind.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
She leaves me there. But
So you really didn't have a choice when you were just
Exactly,
got dropped
yeah.
off. Well,
So what
moms
made
know best,
What made your mom decide to take you to the men's home?
my mom was disabled. She still is. She's disabled, so she can't do too much. So
Okay.
let alone take care of a young man that's getting into trouble on the streets and in and out of doing things that he's not supposed to be getting into.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 13. Yeah, no, 14.
14
Yeah,
at
14.
the men's home.
Yeah, at the
Wow.
men's home, yeah.
At the men's home, wow.
Yeah, so I guess she had talked to Pastor Jesse, and Pastor Jesse opened up the doors for me. You
Wow.
know? And like I said, I think that's probably the best thing that she did for me, because when I was here for about maybe 2 years or a year and a half. And I spent a couple months in the men's home, and then Pastor Jesse sent me to second phase so I could start going to school.
Okay.
But within that time here, man, I remember experiencing the love that I've never felt before. You know,
Yes.
even from family or even from things back at home. But the things that I felt here from the VO family was just, you know, they went all out for me. You know, and then as a kid. Just missing my family and wanting to be home, I had left. And it's like they say, when you leave the church, you go back 7 times worse.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what I was doing good for a little bit, and then I fell off, and I went to drugs. I became a full-blown heroin addict. I was living on the streets.
Wow.
I had ended up getting married. I was stealing from my wife. I was stealing from my kids.
Oh, wow.
And I really don't like to share this part, but I think it'll touch somebody out there. Is that the part when I hit rock bottom, and then I knew that I hit rock bottom is when I overdosed in front of my kid. Right?
Oh, wow.
And I remember
So
my son waking me up, and he was like, "Dad, Dad,
Oh, no.
Dad." And then, but when I
How
snapped
old
out
was
of
he?
it, my son was about what? Like 4, yeah, around there, like 4 or
Oh,
5, yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And when-
that's really hurtful, because I had a kind of similar experience,
Yeah.
and having my son, I had to tell my son to go get help because something was wrong due to the drugs.
Yeah.
And and thinking back now, I feel really, really bad.
To
I'm
put
like,
them through that,
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
child.
Yeah, exactly. So I can, and right after that, what he got you help, or
Yeah. Actually, I turned out. I don't know how, but I ended up under the faucet of a sink,
Oh,
and I
wow.
just remember snapping out of it, putting water on my face and everything. And I think that was just a sign from God.
wake up call.
Wake
huh?
up call.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
wake up call. And from there I was still, dipping and dabbing with my stuff, and it wasn't until my wife came to me, and as a matter of fact, I was at a dope house, and I remember sitting there doing my fix, and feeling just so alone, just feeling by myself. There was people in the house, there was other guys in the house, but I just felt so alone, and I was by myself sitting on that couch, and I remember just telling God, "Why am I here again? Like, how did I get to this situation again?"
Again, why did I hit rock
Again.
bottom again?
Wow.
Yeah, rock bottom
why,
again.
Why
you
did
know?
I go back to
So
this?
I'm sorry, honey.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you started doing drugs?
I picked up my first case before I came to Dallas when I was. I took alcohol and I was selling weed at school. And I would think I was like 12, 13.
Oh,
12,
wow.
13. Yeah, so it started from there. And then I found a prescription bottle of my grandmother's medicine, not knowing what it was.
You just took it.
I just took one, and it
Oh,
felt
my.
good, so I kept that bottle with me. So, but that's just how.
Wow.
That's just how.
You wanted to get
it
high.
started.
Grandma.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You wanted to get high. You wanted to
I
feel.
know, right?
Yeah.
I used to do that too.
Yeah.
I find me a bottle and I tried it. And, whoa, man, and I liked it, and I did the same thing. And you're like wanted to keep, but I didn't take it because I knew they were counting them.
Yeah.
But one was missing. I never fessed up to
That's
it.
bad when you got to count the pills.
But wow, but your music, man. Getting back, man. I want to buy a CD. It's like I'm gonna just.
Matter of fact, do you have any in your car?
I could check right now.
So,
Well, I was gonna bring one for you guys. I'll give you guys one.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome. That's because I wanted one.
Yeah, I got you.
So, what was that turning point for you, where you were like, okay, I've had enough drugs, and
Yeah.
I need to change.
It was right there in that moment when I was sitting on that couch and I just felt so alone. And I remember calling my wife, and I was just telling her what was going on. She said, just call Pastor Jesse, because she knew about the church. She knew about the church, and she said, just call Pastor Jesse, call Pastor Jesse. So I did, and Pastor Jesse said, you know, you're welcome here anytime. He welcomed me with open arms. He said, man, you just got to get that monkey off your back.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
It's a hard process to come off of heroin on your own.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah, just to kick that cold turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of my friends go through it, and oh man, but most of them, 95% of them end up going back because breaking that cold turkey was very hard for them, you know, and knowing what I know now, I would just laugh at them, like, man, that's what you get, you know?
Yeah.
Man, knowing what I know now, which, you know, now if I see a heroin addict and I can help you, I reach out to them and I tell them a lot about the men's home. And it's a hard process to get them to the men's home, but just talking to them and planting that seed and telling them, hey, you know, there's people, you know, we care, we love you, you know, you come to the men's home, you're home.
Yeah.
You know, and showing a lot of love to them, you know, that's what they need is love. You know, and they're good people. You just, you know, they're on heroin, and heroin, I guess, is one of the hardest drugs to get kicked out of. You know, just to break that cold turkey is hard. I've seen my neighbors try. He did it on his own, but I've seen him every day. I would go check on him, and just what he went through, the process, I was like, wow, made me not ever want to do it. You know, I ever want to touch it. Yeah. But you know, but a few months later, he went right back to it again. And I can never answer that question, you know, but knowing what I know now, being saved, I just wish I can go back and just talk to him. You know, hey, you know, there's a different way out of this, you know. But, you know, I haven't talked to him in a while. I haven't seen him, but, you know, I plan to go out there and look for him again. You know, he was my neighbor at once, and he moved out. I know he's somewhere in Oak Cliff, but I'll catch up with him, you know.
Yeah.
So, so for our listeners that don't know what the men's home is, because, you know, us VO people, we talk about the men's home this, the men's home that.
Natural talk,
yeah. So for those that don't know what the men's home is, do you want to tell our listeners what it is?
Yeah. The men's home is basically just a recovery home for addicts or for alcoholics. It's a place where you come in and not just get clean, but you get a relationship with God. And that's the most important part. And that's the most effective part about being in the men's home, is about getting that connection with God.
Yes.
And, you know, because we can't do it on our own, you know, can't do it on our own. So that's basically what the home is. It's just a net. It's a covering so that you can you could go under.
And the best part, it's free.
It's free.
Oh, and
it's free. It's free.
If it's free, it's for me.
You know, and a lot of people ask me, and I tell them about the men's home because, you know, I live in West Dallas. I'm from Ledbetter, and I stopped, you know, this man, and they're like, "How much is it?" It's free, and they look at me like I ain't gotta pay nothing. I said, "No, just bring your bags, your little bags. We're gonna search you, you know, because we don't want no drugs in there, but they just can't believe it's free."
Yeah.
And I go, it's free, but it's not free, you know, because the church, you know, but it's free. I said, for you walk in there, you know, we you know, like you said, you start that relationship with God, and that's the best thing, you know. But it's priceless. The shock on their face, it's free, you know. So.
And the best thing is that they receive love. That they receive love,
and we don't judge them. We don't judge them. There's no judgment.
Yeah. I remember when I came into the home. I was breaking off for heroin. And I felt so much love here, and it's crazy because I've never felt it from like a man-to-man type thing. But when I came in and they saw me sick, they're like, "Oh, bro, you want some chocolates?" Or, "Man, let me massage your legs." They were massaging my legs, you know, my shoulders.
You're
and I was like, "Man, this is a brotherhood, you know? This is a brotherhood right here."
Yeah,
so.
and
it's a godly love.
Yes.
It's a godly love because, you know, for a lot of listeners that probably do listen, they're probably, they're massaging your legs. You know, and what's wrong with these people? It's a godly love. You know, that's what God does. It changes you. You know, we become, I mean, like my pastors, we become dummies for Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. The withdrawal process is harsh.
It's harsh.
Yeah, it's harsh. So it's a crucial time for them to receive love and everything. So absolutely, if massage is what it takes, and that's what it takes. But,
if that's what it takes when you get close to God, that's what we're going to do.
Yes. And we don't only have a men's home, we have a women's home too. So the same applies for the women. So if you're a woman out there and you need some help, you know, reach out and we got a place for you. So whether you're at VO Dallas or VO Grand Prairie, I'm not sure if our Fort Worth has it, but you know what, wherever you're at, we'll figure it out for you.
We'll figure it out. If it's VO, we'll do it. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to take another small break, and we're going to meet some of the other members from Hood Preacher Entertainment. So we'll be right back right after this. Thank you for tuning in to HFM Radio Show with your host, Jenna Espinosa, and my husband, Abraham Espinosa.
Everybody stand up. Yeah,
Kick some
stand
shouts out.
up. Everybody on your feet. Time for everybody in this place to praise my king. Now jump up. Everybody off the ground.
What's up, Joel? Yeah, I'm doing better. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm still a little weak, but I'm here. I gotta make it happen. Billy, what's up?
Yes, Tish, the homes are life changing. Definitely. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Mondo. Yes, VO Dallas in the house. Thank you. Billy, prodigal son, is watching. Thank you.
Yeah, hi man. I'm glad you went by. Come see me, man. That means a lot to me. I haven't been able to catch up to you, but man, hi man. Thank you for coming down and just taking your time and just come to go see me. I appreciate that a lot. Danny Calloway, yeah, I work, man. What's up? Been on Calloway for a minute now. Glad you're tuning in, man. I'm really glad. Watch your boy, changing for Jesus.
Everybody on your feet. Time for everybody in this place to praise my king. Now jump up. Everybody off the ground. If you once was lost, but now you found. All glory to the king on the throne. Until the day that he takes us all home. Until then, get your head
What's scene 3?
when the Lord calls, man, you better answer the phone. Cause only he can satisfy my taste buds. Only he has mighty power to make us. All of our division got
We're about to come back.
not even earthquakes from Cali can shake us. So devil, better not mess with Texas. The gang on the field, best believe we gon' wreck it. G and we doing our thing. God's anointed now, generation that be the name.
All right, and we're back to
We're back.
HFM Radio Show with Jenna Espinosa, Abraham Espinosa.
Yes, we're back with AB Tapitas, Garcia's signature hats.
Yes, with our, had to throw that in there.
Yes, always do.
With our guest, Hood Preacher Entertainment. So, who do we got now? Over here?
My name's Stephen Mata.
Steven.
Young essay.
All right.
All right, young essay.
Okay.
So how old are you?
It's funny because I'm not young. I'm 30.
You do not look 30.
Yeah, I'm 30
Well, I know the feeling. So,
Please. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Houston, Texas,
Okay.
but I've been living in Dallas, Texas for like most of my life already.
Uh-huh.
And I moved from Houston with transactions to Pleasant Grove. And it was very different because our neighborhoods over there in Houston are different. And then the gang styles were different.
mm-hmm.
And like me, I felt like out of place
Uh-huh.
because I was in a different new area, new environment. So the first people I clicked up with, because I banged Eastside over there in Houston, so the first people I clicked up with was Eastside Homeboy.
Oh,
So I
okay.
started rolling with them. And it was like just chilling at first and then fighting, a little fighting here, a little fighting there, but then we started using drugs and
How old were
drinking.
you at that time?
Well, I started drinking when I was young, because like there's a barbecue going on, your uncle's grilling, and there's beer and ice cream.
Oh, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get drunk, so you sneak a couple, and so I started drinking like I want to say real young, like 12 years old, 11.
Oh wow, that is young.
You know, I've noticed that in a lot of people that we interview, a lot of people started drinking at a young age, 12 and 13 years old. So, parents, y'all need to watch them at these cookouts. You need to watch that ice chest a little closer.
These parents start to slip a little bit, and they just slip, and it just like that. It just snap of a finger. It's quick, and you're here around the corner drinking it up by yourself, or and you get that buzz, you want another one,
So we need to be more alert and talking to our kids some more, and get more involved. I know everybody likes to sit around the table and cheese, man. The women and the tias over there at the kitchen table, and the men eat outside, or whatever, and everybody's chismeando. But you know what? What are the kids doing? We need to keep an eye on the children, because that's where it starts. So I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just like, popped into my head.
But then I just started, it just
escalated from there.
It started escalating.
Yeah.
Like, it started off with marijuana, and then like it just kept on going forward, like to cocaine, and from cocaine to heroin, and and then
Just kept increasing, just one a little more and a little
because
more.
I was always the type of person not to turn nothing down. I was like,
let me try this.
Let me try it.
I want to get to that next
Try
level.
If it's there, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. Especially if they,
You're like, let's get the party going.
Especially if your homeboys offer it, because you want to be down. And then, when my BC days, I wanted to be down. So you offer it to me. I didn't try heroin. That's I had a best friend. He always looked out for me. His name was Slim. He let me do when it was heroin. Oh, you better not. So I never went that far. But yeah, when you want to be with your homeboys, you want to be down. You want them to, you want to be. You're part of that clique. So you got to represent. You got to know you're down.
Yeah.
So I pretty know what you mean. You trying everything here and there. So I mean, I didn't go that far, but I did do cocaine. I did weed. I did the how do you say it? The 3 B's, what we call it in Ledbetter: beer, butt, and bumps. We did, beer, butt, and bumps. That's what we did. But
so for how many years were you on drugs and on alcohol?
I was pretty much just using drugs constantly.
Okay.
And then I had eventually I became an alcoholic when I was I want to say 18.
Wow.
So I met my wife over there. She knew I was an alcoholic because if there's beer, I drink the beer, then I drink all the liquor. And if there's wine, I drink the wine.
Oh my!
It was getting
Everything.
a little bit of everything. Yeah. If it had alcohol, it was you.
It was me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was started getting out of hand. I started noticing that I couldn't keep a job. That I always call in and
that's what happens.
I'm hungover, I can't make it. Or I try to go to work drunk, and they be like, "Hey man, you can't be working like this."
Yeah.
It started in 2012. That's when I had first Cancer Victory Outreach. It was because
Did you come on your own, or did somebody invite you?
Well, my wife's aunt had invited us to
Okay.
go to see this drama. It's called the Devil's Playground.
Oh, okay.
So I seen it, and so I was going to church for a while, but then I ended up going back. And so I came back recently. I've been back almost 2 years.
Amen.
Man, that's good. Hallelujah. That's good.
And ever since, man,
you didn't just come back. 2 years is a while.
Yeah, 2 years is a while.
You didn't just come back. 2 years is a while. So that's good. That's good that
You're back.
You're back that long and stayed.
Yeah.
And now you're hooked up with, what you're doing now is it just keeps you connected. Have it stronger with the Lord.
Yeah.
So
what was that turning point for you where you're like, you know what, I got to go back. This ain't working for me.
Well, in 2017, I almost didn't make it to the age of 29.
Oh. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I almost overdosed off of PCP. I took too much I can handle.
Oh man.
So I ended up going crazy. On the freeway on 80. So I was on the freeway. The ambulance came. I went to the hospital. Most of them know my testimony. I told them before, but yeah, that was it was crazy because it was like when I was having when I was sedated in the hospital, I was having like visions that I was in hell.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So it was like I was burning in hell. And then I just remember crying out to God, telling him that I know I'm a bad son, and I'm a bad father, and I'm a bad husband, but just give me one more chance. And I just remember waking up in the hospital. I see my wife there, and I was just started breaking down tears and crying and saying, I said, "Amen," God, God, I know God's real. He's here for me.
Amen. Yeah. Come on, somebody.
Because if it wasn't, because it was weird. I could explain to you later, but I got other artists who want to talk to me.
I understand. Me recently being in the hospital, I called my pastor, and I told Pastor Francisco, he's my cousin, and most people that listen to me, I'm from West Dallas, I'm Philip, they know I'm tough. I wasn't tough. I cried, and I said, Pastor, what did I do? And we prayed together on the phone. And I didn't want to see my wife crying. And I was in the lobby crying. I can hear people passing, and I was just crying. We're both praying on the phone, and at that moment, I can feel just chills going through my body. Just, I was like, wow. And right after that is when everything just in the snap of a finger. I was telling him, Lord, heal me out. Whatever. I haven't filled my calling yet. I want to get better. As soon as after that, I started getting better. I started feeling everything just better. Nurses were coming. You don't need an IV for nothing. You're probably gonna get released tomorrow. Your blood levels are going up.
Yeah.
I cried, and I still feel like crying right now because I know He's real, and He is real. And it made me believe even more.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean when you came out of I was like, wow. And there was a window right there, and I would stare out the window, and I would just look at the sky, and I'll thank you, Jesus, thank you. But I know that feeling that you were feeling, and I wake up still in the morning. I've been out the hospital a few days, and I just wake up in tears without her seeing me, just thanking the Lord. Thank you.
It's like that other chance at life, and you don't want to take anything for granted.
Oh yeah, it's just like a blessing, Like I'm so blessed to come to this church, to meet Brother Tone, and to meet his family. I was like, because I could have been dead. I could have left my kids. I could have left my wife behind. And
not
what
knowing
we've been doing right now.
And then you already got the little glimpse of hell.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, it could have been like the drug, but it felt so real. I felt like I was dead, and I felt like I was just waiting for God to tell me what He was gonna do with me. Basically, that's what I was waiting for.
Oh, wow.
If He was gonna send me to hell, or if He was gonna let me live, but thank God He let me live, and
here you are, tons of testimony.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yes, it is. And it's gonna touch people. It's gonna touch people, make them realize,
Yeah. So, and what's your name?
Lily.
Lily. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Lily?
How?
Because you're young, right?
Yeah, I'm 14 years old.
You're 14 years old. So how did you get involved with the Hood Preacher Entertainment?
Well, I grew up in church.
Oh, that's great.
I grew up in VO. My dad was addicted to heroin for quite a while. Mondo and Christina are my parents.
Oh, okay.
All
Wow.
right.
Hey, shout out to them. Yeah, okay.
Shout out to Mondo. He told me to shout him out, so shout out Mondo.
Well, my dad met Tony first in the home, and then I would always just see my parents, talking to Selena and Tony, cause Selena, she really didn't know nobody, so they clicked, and then I was sitting next to Selena one time during
Selena's
service.
my wife.
Oh, okay.
Selena, yeah, and I was just sitting next to her one time during service, and I don't know how I just ended up next to her, and then from then we just clicked. And now she's my leader. We're really close. And it wasn't until 2017, 2016 when I made a song with him. But I was like, he asked me, and he was like, and I was like, I never really tried rapping. Music, me and music, I like music, and I like rap. So when he asked me to do that, I was kind of iffy about it. But I did it, and ever since then, it's been it's my passion. So
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how did y'all determine to make up Hood Preacher Entertainment? How did that come about?
Well, for a long time in the church, it was just me and Brother Chavez who would rap. Right? But then I would see that with Lily and with Steven and me and Justin would put a beat on, and they would jump on the beat, and I'd be like, oh man, they got something there.
Yeah.
They got a little something.
They saw something.
Yeah, they need to put that to use and let God use them. Let God use them.
Yeah, let go.
Yeah, he already has a heavy testimony.
Yes.
She has a testimony to be pure, to the
homegrown.
Homegrown in the church. So, and then with Billy too. With Billy, he has a heavy testimony. So, if they can put that into music and to get it out there, man, I think God can.
Using music to inspire people, because a lot of people, these days, that music, they just listen. That's what inspires them. And you put out that music, what you're putting out there, wow, it would just, change the game, Yeah. And like I said, man, I can't keep telling. I just 4 or 5 songs that I've been listening to. I said, wow, this guy right here, he's doing it, and I like it, and just like I said, like the home, and now you put the home down too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I like that because we're real close to the home. So for the Grand Prairie home, we we're always involved.
there. We're always involved. I'm always with Pastor Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him. He went by my house and I wasn't there. And I was like,
I said that's his little church BFF right there.
Yeah. my best friend Slim, he gets jealous. He just looks at me, and when he sees like,
Pastor Francisco, they're cousins, so he gets jealous.
Oh,
too.
he gets jealous too. What are you doing?
When he was in the emergency room, he asked for them. He asked for both Pastor Francisco and Pastor Josh, and so I was texting them and whatever, and I text Pastor Francisco. I said, hey, he's asking for you and Josh. Do you think y'all can come right now? Because we were still in the emergency room. We knew he was going to be admitted, and Pastor Francisco had already asked me if they could come by or should we wait till he got into a room. And I had initially told him, can we wait till we get into a room? And he said, yeah. But then he started asking for them. So I said, Ashley, can you and Pastor Josh come now? So he said, Pastor Josh is, he's getting physical or something right now, so I'll go. So he came, and then while he was kind of out of it, he goes, man, why is he asking for Pastor Josh for? Ain't I enough? Is it my anointing enough? I was like, oh my God, this is not the time to get jealous.
I did crack a smile on that one. I was cracking a smile, and I was like, man, my cousin's really jealous. So I know he loves me.
Yeah. So again, I just want to tell our listeners that if you've been hearing the tracks that I've been playing during breaks, that is tracks from our artists from the Hood Preacher Entertainment. They have a CD out. It's only $10, I think, right? So that's affordable. Y'all know y'all can afford $10. So go find them on the page and order your CD.
Like Pastor says, if you can go to the Connect.
Yeah.
And get your little something for $10.
Sure.
You can go get the CD. You can go get your CD for $10.
Yeah, y'all know back in your BC days, you came up with $10 real quick, fast.
I got 5 on it.
Yeah, so go scrape up your little $10 and get that CD because their music's awesome and it will
be life
speak to
changing.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sorry, and I know I already asked probably. So how long have y'all had the group? How long have y'all been doing music together?
As a group, we've been doing it for about going on 2 weeks like that. So, but I myself and Justin, we've been doing it for a couple years.
Yeah, so y'all been doing it individually.
Yeah,
okay.
Individually, yeah.
But just recently as a group. That's awesome. That's amazing. So yeah.
So yeah, going for the long haul, right? Going for the long,
yeah. Going for the long haul. We want to see it build. We want to see more. We want to see branches of it. We want to see just. We want to see God move big. That's our main goal is for let it all be God.
Not exactly.
Let it all be God. Let God do all the work. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what are y'all hoping to accomplish by coming together as a group? Like, what is your main goal? Like, what is it?
The main goal is to save souls.
Yes.
To save souls and to reach as many people as we can. To let all the ears know that Jesus loved them, all the people that listen to us, that every song that they hear, the message is Jesus loves you.
And if it's not going to be through the preaching, it's going to be through the music.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's going to be through the music, yes.
So would you guys welcome, just putting it out there for listeners, would you guys welcome invitations to other churches or events?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so y'all heard if y'all want to see them live, reach
won't
out.
be disappointed.
Yeah, you don't have to be part of Victory Outreach.
Yeah,
Just any church, and we all have the same mission, the same souls. So so I would want to see them live and actually get to see them live when I go to VO Dallas. But if y'all want to see them or have them at one of your events, car shows are coming up. So that would be awesome to have you guys at a car show. Speaking of car shows, I know my husband's excited. Car shows.
Yeah, I sell these hats, Garcia signature hats. And I hit up every car show I can, and there's a lot of people. There's some people out there rapping it. We're having one in Ledbetter, I know, West Dallas, and I think we have another artist coming out there. And I believe his name's Brian Trejo, Kingdom Music. Kingdom Music. He's going to be out there. And I just found out a couple of days ago. So Rick's,
awesome.
But awesome. He's been to a lot of our Victory Outreach.
Yeah, he has. He's great.
I've seen him perform like 2-3 times, and in the background that's his VO.
Yeah,
I'm like, he's at the VO. Yeah. I know he came to Grand Prairie a couple of times, and we I didn't get to go, but a lot of Grand Prairie VO met him, and they were talking to him and stuff. So he's pretty good, you know.
Yeah. So we got about 10 minutes left on the show. Is there anyone else that wants to speak? Is there something y'all want to share specifically?
Now, I'm gonna let my sister tell
Okay.
her testimony. She has a heavy testimony.
Okay. Yeah, put you on the spot, Linda.
I know the feeling, trust me.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys for having us here.
Absolutely.
So exciting.
I'm glad y'all came.
Yeah, we're glad.
Yes. Feels like family, right?
Yes,
we
of
are
course.
family,
Yeah. We're home,
Awesome.
VO. We're home.
Yes.
Well, my name is Linda. I'm, Tony's sister. You guys heard his testimony. I was just in my house. Like, I've never done drugs. I never drank. My dad was absent at a very young age. I was the little girl sitting outside, waiting for daddy to come and never showing up.
Yeah.
So a lot of the broken promises and stuff. And so a lot of brokenhearted. I was brokenhearted, through that. And so seeing my brother go through, like, all the stuff that he went through, I just thank God, though, because, like, none of our prayers are in vain. Like,
Right.
none. Every prayer that I pray to God, for whether it was for my dad, because he went through a lot, my mom, she's disabled. And I even remember, like, going through a very lonely stage because my brother wasn't there. I have an older sister. But like I said, my mom was disabled, but I just felt like just alone at such a young age and just very insecure. And so just a lot of that, suicidal thoughts came, and so.
How old were you when you were having suicidal
I
thoughts?
had to have been like 12, 13.
It's a young
Very
age.
young.
Yeah.
And, my mom, she almost died. And I told God, I said, she was 5% chance, like, and me and my mom were so close.
Oh.
And I told the Lord, I said, if you take my mom, I'm taking my life. Like, that's it. Like, I have nothing to live for. And I remember sitting in the waiting room looking at my mom on, like, with tubes, everywhere. And the doctor coming, and I remember asking the doctor, like, what do you mean that's it? Like, that, what do you mean? And I just went back to my chair, and that's when I told the Lord, and a couple of minutes later, you just see, like, her oxygen level just start to, like, rise. And I knew right then and there at such a young age, like, there's nothing impossible for God.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
he heard me so
Yeah.
young, And so me and Tony actually came to a Victory Outreach in San Antonio when we were 9 years old. And those are my in-laws at the Victory Outreach San Antonio.
Okay.
And so we grew up there. Thank God for VO. I'm so grateful for this ministry. And so I just gave everything to God at such a young age. And I got involved with the gang at the church and joined the worship team because I love to sing. And so worship was everything for me.
Yeah.
And the gang,
God's anointed now generation.
yes.
For those that don't know, because people tell me, gang, your church got a gang. and I got to explain to them, God's anointed now generation. They're like,
Yes.
I don't want. They're like, I don't want my kid involved in a gang.
Right.
This is the gang you do want your
hold on.
kids to
Yeah.
yes.
And so that's where it all started for me. Just
That's
so
good.
young and just, having a praying mom and just getting heavily involved in the gang.
Yeah.
The leaders and everything. And we just recently moved here. It's going on 2 years this year. And this is the best place. Like, man, the same love that he talked about when he came is the same exact love that we felt when we moved here. Pastor Jess and Sister Val. The whole family,
Yeah.
Tamara and Edward, everybody, all the leaders, everybody. And it's just been just so awesome. So I'm grateful even for Hood Preacher. Like, I'm grateful that, the ministry is getting started,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so we're just doing it for God.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Big
Yes.
things are coming
Yes.
for
Yes,
sure.
for
Yes,
sure.
So-
for sure.
So I want to ask you because, you say you had suicidal thoughts at such a young age at 12. And we're seeing a lot of that right now,
yeah.
where a lot of young children are taking their own lives. So what would you say to someone right now that's struggling with suicidal thoughts? Young or not young, but, what would you say to someone right now?
I would, talking to somebody. You need to talk to somebody. You know, open up to somebody. You know, somebody that you trust. And if you don't, man, I'm telling you, God is there. God is there. All you gotta do is just tell the Lord, Lord, I need you right now. That's all you gotta do, and He'll be there. You know. But you know, it's for me. That's what it took. I was young. Yes, I was very young, and I just cried out to God because my mom wasn't there, my dad wasn't there, nobody was there. I was alone. Yeah. And I cried out to God. You know, even at just so young, I knew that He was there. And,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That you called out to Him, that you knew to call out to Him,
yes.
and that you saw that He answered. You know, but it's so sad. Like every time when I read, you know, something, you know, a news article or even on Facebook that, you know, another young kid took their life because, you know, they were bullied or whatever. But it's so hard because, you know, high school is hard. Junior high is hard. Or I guess being a kid in school is hard. Period. And it just, you know, makes you aware, like, or makes you think, like, gosh, what was so wrong? What was going on in this child's life that they felt their only option was to end their life? You know, and I think that goes back to us as parents, you know, being more involved, or not even just parents, you know, aunts and uncles or anyone, especially if you know that there's a child in your life that their parents aren't involved for whatever reason. I think we really need to keep our eyes open and talk with them and just really, hey, you know, are you okay? Exactly. You know, I think that question could really go a long way. Just, hey, are you okay?
Some kids intend to close themselves and don't want to talk to parents, you know, and they, without talking to these kids, without talking to their parents, go back to school and they end up getting bullied again. And they just end up in the same situation again. Yeah. And it's hard because I read about it a lot, and I'm like, wow, I mean, like she was saying, how can these kids just take their own lives? There's no way out. But, I mean, sometimes the parents or people just asking them, you know, what's wrong, it goes a long way. Right. And sometimes kids don't want to open up, but if you be persistent enough, they'll open up. Yeah. And I was one of the kids. I used to get bullied when my wife probably know I used to get bullied, and at the times, I didn't want to go to school. I was always faking it because people will make fun of me. But, you know, got to junior high, everything changed. But during my elementary years, it was just bullied. And my parents, they would ask me, but I didn't ever want to open up. I guess, but eventually I did, and I told my mom, you know, what's going on. But you got to be persistent sometimes with the kids and be like, what's wrong, because other kids are just going to make them push them, make them go that way.
I think, too, like a lot of times, you know, because they're young, and so they think, this is it for me. This is it for me. There's no future. Yeah. But I tell a lot of even young girls, like, man, there's so much more. Like, there's just so much more. Exactly. This situation is gonna pass. Right. It's gonna go.
Right. You just reach out. Just reach out to someone. Life does get better. Yes, you know, it does get better.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
No,
so we only got a couple minutes left on the show. Is there anything that y'all? What are your last words? What do y'all want to share with the audience? Tony's like, I got this.
Yeah. Good preacher entertainment.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I just, if you're listening on the radio, I just want to let you know that if you know anybody that's hurting off of drugs or anybody that's hurting off of any kind of addiction, there's a place to go to. You know, there's a place to go to and that's Victory Outreach or any church, really, any church. Yes. But the main focus is that you get a connection with God. Amen. You know, you get a connection with God, and that's what really all I wanted to share. But man, I'm excited. You know, I'm excited for Stephen, for Lily. I think I'm more excited for them than what I am for myself. You know, but I'm just excited, man. I want to see God move. You know, that's all we want to see.
He's already
moving.
Move, yeah.
You know, and we can't wait to come back. You know,
we'll definitely bring you back.
Yeah, we'll definitely do
it's like we didn't even make a dent in anything. Like there's so much more I want to ask y'all, and I can tell there's so much more y'all want to say.
Yeah.
So
next time that we're gonna let that traffic beat us.
I'll be there at 4 o'clock.
Turn the car off and on before you know. Because you know, car based. No, the devil's a liar.
Yes,
the devil's a liar. He try to do anything and everything for you not to come, for you not to try to reach out. You know.
Yeah. So I just want to thank y'all again, Hood Preach Entertainment, for coming and being our guest on the show. This is a wrap, and thank you for tuning in to HFM Radio Show. Every Thursday at 6 o'clock, we're here with your host, Jenna Espinosa, and my husband, Abraham Espinosa.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Once again, HFM Radio, AB Tapitas, Garcia's Signature Hats.
Bye, Facebook.